Hello, Catamounts. My name is Alexander Hoffman, and this is Chats with Cats presented by WeTV. In this series, we've been interviewing some of our amazing student athletes here at Western Carolina University. Today, we have our second guest from the Pride of the Mountains Marching Band. Today's guest is Ashley Elliott. How are you, Ashley?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So we'll go ahead and jump right into this. Go ahead and please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do for the band.
Yeah, so I'm a drum major for the marching band, so I'm conducting up in front of the band when they're performing. So that's kind of my primary role. I also handle a lot of the logistics behind the scenes, preparation for our different events, and that sort of thing.
Nice. So if you don't mind, could you share a memorable moment from your band career at Western? I'm sure I have no idea what it's going to be.
Obviously, Ireland. That was a really big trip just for Western, so that was really cool. I had never been to Ireland before, obviously, never been to Europe, so that was a really cool trip just to see somewhere different. The parade was also very different than parades are here. The audience was a lot more excited to see us, and it was a lot more of a, I guess, looser kind of atmosphere, which was really cool. We also got to see a lot of sights and a lot of really cool places in Ireland, so that was obviously a pretty big perk as well.
That's something that whenever I was asking that question to our first marching band guest, Jakai, the same exact thing happened where I was like, oh, I have this great question. What's your favorite memory? Oh, Ireland happened last semester.
So for sure that.
I mean, definitely still a really cool experience that I think not a lot of college marching bands are getting to go into.
Yeah.
Yeah. What keeps you motivated to get up for band all throughout the busy seasons?
Well, band season is definitely very busy, just between classes and rehearsals and all that. It honestly kind of helps just having a lot to do because you don't have as much time to just sit around and do nothing. You kind of have to do everything right away, which kind of helps. You're just so go, go, go. You don't really stop. But I mean, definitely the performances are what's, motivating me, and, being able to perform is really what I enjoy most about band. So, I know I'm always working towards that. So
yeah, having that thing to work towards is definitely helpful whenever you are so go, go, go. I don't know anybody that's more stressed usually than the people that are in the band because there's so much happening up until how happy everyone is at the games themselves.
Yeah.
And then also in these interviews, a common theme is the family feel within all of our athletic teams. So I kind of wanted to hear your perspective on that with band, especially given how very large the band is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely say that is something that exists within the band. Not so much, I mean, it happens on a larger scale, but I think the thing that people find are mostly within their sections. They become really close with the people that are around them most, which are going to be their sections, the people who play the same instrument as them. For me, that definitely looks like the rest of the drum major team. We're all super close. We obviously spend a lot of time at rehearsal and preparing for different activities and whatnot, but we also spend a lot of time together just as friends because we've just grown really close to this process as well. So I would say it's kind of the smaller sections, I think, are where people really find that family feel within the band.
Usually about how small would you say those sections are?
Well, the drum major team is 4 people, including myself. Sections could range anywhere from maybe 20 on the smaller end to 50 on the larger end. They're kind of big, just because we have a really big program.
Yeah, I guess that's more similar to the size of the athletics teams around that area.
Yeah, so that kind of just depends. But people definitely find a community, I think, within the larger band community as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of the thing that I can kind of make that comparison to is overall athletics, everyone seems to know each other. The stronger family is inside the individual teams.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it sounds like that is for band as well. And then we are going to kind of change gears. These interviews are about a lot more than just athletics or in your case band. It's also about the student behind that. So what are you studying and what made you choose that major?
So I'm a communication major and my concentration is in health communication. So I kind of found that major after attending an open house. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I was thinking, I know I had an interest in psychology, but I wasn't really super passionate about that as a major. And there was a tabling about the health communication program here. And it's a smaller program. It's a little bit newer. There aren't as many of us. But it was just something that really caught my attention. It kind of blended my interest in psychology, kind of how people work, but then also medicine. I knew I didn't want to practice medicine, but health was still kind of an area of interest to me. So it just kind of came together. And so that was a big reason why I came to Western in the first place, but why I chose communication specifically.
Yeah, I think that health communication doesn't really get a lot of attention whenever it is broadcasting, like most of the people in this studio are, or journalism or PR.
Yeah.
Health com's a much smaller. I know I don't even think I had heard of it until having done any tours with you. And on that topic, what other kinds of things have you gotten involved in around campus?
Well, obviously doing campus tours. I work with Entourage, so I do tours for prospective students and help with the open houses. I've also been involved in the communication department with the Public Relations Student Society of America, or PRSSA, helping run some of those events. And then I'm also involved with my campus ministry, my church on campus.
And just so everyone knows, not only is Ashley involved with Entourage, she is the president of Entourage.
Yeah.
Not mention that.
But
just quick shout out to Entourage tour guides, as one myself also. But how do you manage your time between academics and all these extracurriculars as well as band?
It's definitely hard sometimes because, it seems like when one thing gets busy, everything else also gets busy. So it really comes down to just managing your time well, and just really planning ahead. If I know that I have several back-to-back meetings or activities, I have to know that, like, when I leave my house in the morning, I need to remember to bring, for example, like a mega box because I have a rehearsal later that I need and we need a speaker for that. Or I'm not going to have a lot of time to eat lunch, so I need to remember to bring food with me or something, just stuff like that. It just requires some forethought ahead of time. And then with the time you do have, getting stuff done as you can.
Yeah, especially with all those different things.
Yeah.
And then what kind of challenges come with the extra commitment of traveling for band as well?
Sometimes really the only challenges I would say would be when it comes to travel where we do have to miss classes, because that'll require, making sure professors are aware, or sometimes it could be like we might need to reschedule like a quiz or something, or we have a group project and it's due while we're going to be gone. So coordinating with our group, that sort of thing. That also kind of goes with planning ahead and, time management, making sure you get that kind of stuff done before you leave so that you don't have that, I guess, hanging over you while you're gone. Yeah,
I know, especially because things like bigger trips like Ireland where you guys all missed a week of classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was definitely harder. The nice thing about that is it happened the week after spring break. So I was able to use that time during spring break to get classes done for the next week, which, is not ideally how I want to spend my spring break, but it kind of needed to be done in order for Ireland to go well.
Yeah. And that way you were able to not be as worried about that while you're seeing the sights in Ireland.
Yeah.
And then kind of overall, how do you say that being a part of the band has shaped your college experience?
It's been for sure one of the best parts of my college experience. It was the first thing I did here because we do move in early before the school year starts to do band camp. It was how I met a lot of my friends. It's been a big community for me while I'm here. It's gotten me involved with other opportunities just besides Pride of the Mountains. It's been like that foundational thing that I've kind of had with me all 4 years of my time at Western.
Yeah, having that the entire time you're here.
Yeah.
And then moving on from the band side or the student side, we have our lightning round questions, just some short little questions with some short little answers from you. What has been your favorite class at Western?
Kind of a hard question. I'd say right now the biggest one that comes to mind is I'm in a health comm special topics class right now that's focused on global cultural side of health communication. So that's been really cool, just learning about like different health practices in different cultures and different views on health. That's a really important part of health communication because you need to be able to understand your population and who you're talking to and being able to reach a variety of different people. So that's been kind of cool to learn about different health practices
Yeah, I'm sure
people have.
That can vary widely across different cultures as well.
For sure.
If you could add any popular song or artist to the halftime set, what or who would it be?
Another hard one. Honestly, I would probably go with the Beatles. And we've played a lot of stuff by the Beatles, so it's not necessarily new, but I think it's just something I'd continue to do because they just have really good music, and I think it fits really well within our shows.
Shout out to the Beatles. Not that they necessarily need any shout out, but anyways, do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions?
Not really, which is kind of weird. You would think we would. I don't know. We kind of like meet as a drum major team before we perform. So like, I guess that's a ritual. Like just being like, okay, good luck, we got this, that sort of thing. But yeah. Sometimes
that's all you need. And then final question of the lightning round. What is your favorite post-game meal?
Haywood's for sure. That is my go-to place after games.
It is a very good
barbecue.
Place. Yes. Shout out Haywood Smokehouse, 1000%. And then final question, kind of to tie everything together and like the student side, the band side. What is the best advice you've received as a student in band, and kind of in turn, what advice would you give to a student that's interested in coming and joining POTM?
So I would say probably the best advice, and one that we hear a lot, comes from Bob Buckner, who is one of the former POTM directors. And he has this quote that basically says, hard work and good times go together, but it just so happens that hard work comes first. And that's kind of like a good summary of the band experience. You know, when you're doing band camp and you're rehearsing for 10 to 12 hours a day, it's not exactly the most thrilling thing. It's hot, you're tired, everything hurts, but you know that the hard work you're putting in now is what will lead to the good times that you'll have later. That leads to those memories like Ireland and our performances and being able to travel and that sort of thing. So I'd say like that's probably the best band experience or band advice that I can think of. As far as like POTM, it's kind of the same thing I would suggest to anyone on a tour. I mean, I definitely recommend it. It's been one of my best experiences that I've had here at Western. It's a great way to meet people and to get involved on campus. You would do it for all the same reasons that you would join a high school marching band. But it's definitely something that when I get a student on a tour who's interested in band, that's always really exciting because a lot of people do come to Western for the program. So it's always exciting when you see people who are coming in and who are also excited about the same thing you're excited about.
Yeah, I can't count the number of times that whenever I ask if anybody's interested, and then I'm like, well, you can talk to Ashley because she definitely knows. Yeah. But that was our final question. But before we say goodbye, I did want to remind everybody that the effects of Hurricane Helene are still being felt heavily in the region. There will be a link in the description to a list of resources compiled by WCU to donate, volunteer, and receive support if needed. But thank you for coming on the show today, Ashley.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. We'll see you next time, and go Cats.